So when I got Granny home, the first sort of signs that I saw with her were just like a reluctance to go through like doorways. Um, Sometimes I had to just like pick her up and carry her through. But I kind of chalked that up to like little tiny puppy went through, kind of a stressful transport. Give her some time, give it a few weeks and let her adjust. And it got her right around the holidays, and had taken her to a Christmas party where I had her, in her own separate room, and she had her crate, and I had, given her space. And I remember my cousin came in and reached into the crate to pat her, and she just growled at him the tiniest, cutest little puppy growl. And that was when I thought, ooh, like, eek, this is something. I had, seen some of her like reluctance to do things where she would maybe shy away from people that were coming into my house. But when I heard that growl, I thought like, okay, this is more than just new puppy, and this is something I don't know about. I need help. So I found you, Laura, through Facebook, and it took me a while to get to you. I started my search for professional help in January of 2020, and because Granny was afraid of car rides, I started very locally, just out of necessity. And the local trainer that we worked with, what I really wanted was to really zero in on the fear as my priority. But what she had for us was like obedience sort of skills, which, as her being a puppy, like it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't our priority, and it wasn't really addressing the high priority that I had. So we kind of moved on from them, and she got evaluated by a behavior specialist shortly after. And the behavior specialist gave us a good diagnosis and called it neophobic reactivity, so fear of new things. And she gave me like a long list of resources to look into, and kind of set me on like a target of like what we could work on. And I had asked at that time if she could recommend, she said you'll find if you work with somebody one on one, it'll be easier. And I asked at that point for a recommendation, and she didn't have a name in my area to offer for me. So what I did was I just kind of took the resources that she gave and kind of DIY'd and headed in that direction that she pointed us. And it was like a long, probably close to 6 months, where I felt like I was just, I don't know, banging my head against the wall, so to speak, where I was trying these things, and I was putting a lot of time in and thinking that I needed to, repeat, and, give things time and be patient. During that time, I did reach out to my vet and started her on medication, thinking that might, change things for the better, and was, trying to give that a chance and give that some time. But I just felt like I was going through this long stretch where I kept trying and was just getting nowhere, and it was very disheartening and very frustrating. And just also, after going through what I did with my last dog, just feeling like the stress and the pressure to solve these issues so that they didn't get worse and turn to a huge problem. And so it was like at the end of the summer, early fall, I think it was, I saw a post, somehow it popped up on my Facebook. I saw a post of yours of your dog Willow wearing a muzzle, and she had gone on a hike, and the message that you had just was really positive and real. And I knew from talking to the behavior specialist that this reactivity was like fight or flight. So I knew that she had told us that the kinds of dogs that have reactivity, like sometimes it looks like aggression, and sometimes it's the flight, and Granny is the flight. But I knew when I saw the muzzle and in your description of that image, like you had the other kind of reactivity, and I was just interested, and I thought, well, I'll follow this person. So I had started following you, and shortly after, you ran a couple of challenges, one in your own group and one in the New Hampshire Dog Walking Club group. You were their expert of the month. And I did both challenges. I think what hooked me in and what I really liked about them initially is just I was coming from this stretch where I hadn't really had any success doing this DIY thing. I felt like I was looking at this like mountain of behavior modification I wanted to do, and didn't know how I was ever going to do it. And I felt this, because of my last dog and the way things went, I felt like this big burden and this urgency to get some progress and to see some results. So when I saw your challenges, you framed them as like games, and they were just like really short, easy, manageable daily tasks that I was like, okay, I'm gonna play along, and I did, and I saw, her responding, and I saw these results with her, and just the framing them as a game and keeping it light and positive, and just really short and manageable each day, like this like really simple thing to follow that built up to this big, this goal, of this behavior, whatever it was that you were working us on. It was just what I needed. I needed a new perspective, and I need something that was super manageable, and like you call them small wins. I needed those like so desperately. I needed them, and I got a lot of them just working through your challenges, and I participated, just completely, and because of my participation, I ended up winning some of your products, and services, which was what kind of hooked me into joining the monthly membership that you started in October. And that virtual academy was just more of that, more of those little steps and those little manageable chunks that built up into something, exciting, and beneficial and positive. And it was just so effective and such a breath of fresh air. Like, I was so happy to have found that